Today's subject is about the future of democracy. Is there a future of democracy, and what is democracy after all? So I think it has to do with openness, with transparency, with participation, with pluralism and diversity, with division of power, with human rights, with protection of minorities, and all this. And Pope Francis, among many others, have asking themselves recently, what's up actually with you, humanistic Europe, you defender of human rights, democracy and freedom? Because we're seeing in countries such as Poland and Hungary that democracy is not in the very best shape, and the same applies actually to France, even more so to Turkey, and one could add a number of other countries, right? So we have to worry, and above all, there are some people who claim that democracy is an outdated technology. It has created wealth, health, and happiness of billions of people all over the world, but now they want to do something new, the Facebooks and the Googles and the IBMs of the world. Now, why is democracy under pressure? I think it has to do actually with the fact that our existential problems haven't been solved. We've basically been suggested, no, everything is fine, everything is getting better, but in fact, we have serious issues with climate change. 1/6 of all species might die out, actually. We have issues with the financial, economic, and spending crisis unsolved after 10 years. There's a lot of conflicts and wars all over the world. There is mass migration, terrorism, and all of that has one root cause, I believe, which is the lack of sustainability. We are overusing resources, and that creates a scarcity of resources elsewhere, and that scarcity creates conflict and war and mass migration and terrorism, all sorts of things. So we tend to point our fingers to other people, but the origin of these problems, it's us, and we need to solve this problem if we want to create a better world, a good future that we'd like to live in. Predictions aren't good. This is the Limits to Growth study, updated. As you can see, there's economic and population collapse predicted for the world. No matter what parameters have been changed in those simulation models for the future, it always ends in collapse. You can see basically economic collapse is expected right now. Population collapse is expected in 2030. That's why we have the UN Agenda 2030. Some people are asking, do we now need to learn to die in the Anthropocene? So we have serious problems, but we're most of the time not aware of the seriousness of these problems. So the question, what can be done? And people have come up with this idea, let's collect as much data as we can get. Within just a minute, we can collect 700,000 Google queries and 500,000 Facebook posts, and people are shopping, they're moving, all of that creates data traces, and these kind of data traces have been collected, as we know, by companies and state agencies. And the reason for that is that people have been asking, can we now know everything? Can we see it as it goes on in any place of the world in real time? And the military is working on these kind of projects. And most of the time this is intended for good. Then big data is being combined with artificial intelligence, and as we know, this is exponentially increasing over time. In about 20 years, we expect AI systems that are smarter than humans. Maybe even earlier, maybe there are already AI systems smarter than humans. In any case, intelligent machines will be useful tools for many people. for us as well. And as they get smarter, they will be like our teammates and eventually our coaches, telling us, don't do this, you can do that better, And eventually the question is, would they be our bosses? And that kind of question is being studied, but if you even think further, then the question is, could we now optimize the world with all that data and the computer power and the AI that we have, and could we basically rule it like a benevolent dictator or a wise king? And some people like this idea, many people are concerned. I'm one of the people who are concerned because what basically happened is that something like a digital Bentham panopticon was built, where people said, now when resources get short, we need to know where the resources are and who uses them. So basically all of us are being surveilled, all the resources are being surveilled, everything which is in our fridge will be surveilled, everything what happens in the world will be surveilled, because the idea is a supercomputer could optimize the world and then it would tell us what would be our role in that big plan in order to reach that optimum. But of course that is a totalitarian society that we're steering towards. And that's the reason why 1984 is currently again the bestseller on the book market. Now, thanks to discussions of scientists in our community, including myself, people have started to get critical about this approach. And realizing this is a totalitarian approach. Citizen score is just an example where everything that you do will get plus or minus points. And depending on your points, will get certain kind of goods or services or not. If there's a scarcity of resources in the future, your points will decide what you get and what you don't get. Now this has come under pressure, this concept, but we need to be aware it's around also in Western countries, as it has turned out. In the UK, that program is called Karma Police. And it's also looking into the kind of movies that you're watching, the kind of music that you're listening to. All of that is being used to determine your value for society. Now, for some time people have thought a benevolent dictator would be the best thing for the world, but it turns out benevolent dictators don't actually perform better. In looking into data for various countries all around the world, and I do think that it's about time to fight against that technological totalitarianism, as Martin Schulz has called for recently, and many others too. So democracy is in danger, as everyone feels now, but for some time it was not so clear. Times are very dangerous when people start to talk about scarcity of resources. Now, if we are starting to get afraid, it's not enough for everyone. People will start worrying, oh, is there enough for me? And that is the time where totalitarianism starts and where wars start and all these kind of things. But if I show you this figure about world population, we can say there was never a real shortage of resources in the world. Now, after those terrible wars that happened, population was even bigger. So it's just a matter of organization, how we're using those resources, right? And I think we're just at the beginning of a new historical era where we have to learn to reorganize our resources and our society again. And that has to do actually with complex systems. As you can see, processing power is increasing exponentially, but data even faster. That means we cannot even process all the data about the world, but systemic complexity increases even much faster. as we go on networking the world. Creates a combinatorial explosion. And so paradoxically, even though we have more data and better technology than ever, we are losing control. If we try to control the world top down, but fortunately there is another control paradigm, which is distributed control and self-organization. And this is what complexity scientists study, how to use self-organization to get the result that you want. And basically, if we want to solve our problems, we really need to change the paradigm. We need to create resilient systems that can cope with unexpected surprises. And I think we need to learn to decentralize our global systems. Otherwise, they will break into pieces, and this is what we're actually seeing right now. So the paradigm for the future seems to be, at least to me, what I call localization rather than globalization. That means think global, act local, have diverse, locally adapted approaches, have decentralization such as modular design, distributed control, diversity, subsidiarity, and we need to build that into our systems, including the way we run in Europe. Then Europe would get out of its crisis. And here is a proposal. So I think we should have politics like representations of regions all over the world, business, science, and citizen representatives at one table, to have a balanced approach, division of power, multiple perspectives, and all this. And a similar thing really applies to our economy. So for some time, basically, the idea was when resources get short, then we need big business, because that creates economies of scale and can produce more cheaply and more resource efficient. So what you're doing basically, if there is a problem, you're looking for all possible solutions, and then you try to identify the best one, the optimum solution, and then you roll it all out all over the globe. One single solution basically, right? And that creates something like this, a monoculture. And that would have been the solution for our world also in terms of our human cultures, That was basically the intention, to create one culture all over this globe. But as complexity scientists, we know that would work well. This would just make the system very vulnerable to perturbations. What we really need is diversity, because diversity drives innovation, it drives resilience, collective intelligence. And as people living in Austria, there's not just one optimum. There are many peaks in the mountains, right? And the most important point is optimization really doesn't solve our problems, because those solutions that will solve our problems may not even be there today. You cannot find them in data of the past. So what we really need is innovation. And in fact, that will happen to our society. We'll see a fundamental transformation, I believe. We'll see a digital transformation driven by big data and AI and other technologies that are coming up. We'll see and need an ecological transformation. Within just 15 years, we need to reduce CO2 emissions by 40–50%. And I think we also need to have a transformation of the financial system. I think this is actually limiting the evolution of our current system. So basically, if changing the parameters won't save us, we need to change the system of equations. That means we need to change the system, the socio-economic framework. So far, we have mainly innovated within that framework of capitalism 1.0. So we need a capitalism 2.0 or 4.0 or whatever, right? So we need to think about how to change the system in such a way and create links and all these kind of things, change the rules such that there's enough for everyone. And that is basically the challenge that we need to think about. And I believe open science and open innovation will be very important. Sebastian Thrun, who was leading Google X, said only 1% of all things has been invented. I believe that too. You know. So we need open education, we need citizen science that creates much more bandwidth, much more innovation. I believe we need fab labs, and in fact there are hundreds of them around the world in the meantime, also in Vienna of course. We need to think about how the economy of the future will look like. And in fact, half of the jobs will probably be gone in a couple of years. We'll have to reinvent half of our economy. That will be a digital economy. Digital means it's non-material, and non-material means non-competitive. So there are completely different rules in that new economy. Sharing can create more value. Co-creation, co-evolution, collective intelligence are the success principles of this new economy. We'll need open data so new jobs can be created. Everyone needs to have access to much more data. And then the goal is to create an information innovation production and service ecosystem where everyone can plug in his or her own ideas and services and products and so on. So it would be a giant sharing economy owned by the people. And in fact, you know, there are unlimited resources in the digital realm. And the principle is to go away from this idea to run the world based on power. We should empower people, because if they are more creative with digital tools that we can create, more innovative, take better decisions, it's easier to coordinate, then that will create better products, better businesses, smarter cities, and better societies, right? So enabling combinatorial innovation, that is really it. And yes, complexity scientists of course know that if a system doesn't do what you expect it to do, then you need to change the interactions within that system. And for that you need to be able to measure the interactions in the first place. And we're working on a project called NervousNet. It's open source, so very much invited to participate in that project. And it's using sensor data from smartphones if you want to participate, otherwise not. So we're not spying on anyone. And you decide what sensor to open and whether you want to use this data for yourself or share it. But together we could actually create a global measurement system and create data for ourselves and for everyone else. You know, we don't need Google's data. We could create our own data, in fact. You know? So the idea is to create an Internet of Things as citizen web and then use it to map noise and stress and CO2 and all sorts of externalities. And then the principle is increase positive externalities, reduce negative ones, and ensure fair compensation. That means we need new market systems, a multidimensional financial system actually that allows you to create differentiated incentives. So basically, if there's garbage, it would attract somebody who would reuse that resource. And that would create a circular economy based on market forces rather than regulation, right? And this kind of multidimensional financial system can now be built using blockchain technology, and it would drive our economy towards a sharing economy and a circular economy, and then actually the resources that we have on this planet would be enough for everyone. We just need to reuse them. Now, also in terms of governance, the world is so complex that nobody can really understand it by himself or herself, or not even a supercomputer. We need to combine our knowledge and ideas. We need to create collective intelligence, bringing the best ideas and brilliant minds together. That requires online deliberation platforms where people put their ideas and arguments on the table, and then they would be ordered and arranged into different perspectives, and then basically you need a round table for people to integrate those different perspectives and come up with innovative solutions. So a computer cannot just pick a solution. We need to come up with new innovative solutions. That is the point of democracy. And it turns out that the success principle of collective intelligence is diversity wins, not a single best solution. If you combine different solutions, it turns out to be often better than the single best. So this is what digital democracy is about. And we could even go one step further and create what I would call democratic capitalism. Now that's maybe the most revolutionary idea here. So the point is that we wouldn't infuse money from top down into the financial system as the ECB and the Fed is doing that right now with very little success, but the money would be infused in a bottom-up way. So it would end up on your bank accounts basically, right? There would be a basic salary, but you could earn something on top, so basic is fixed, right? What's the advantage of this? Well, Robert Reich said, basic income is the solution to three problems. Lack of aggregate demand, I mean, it's important for the economy itself. Inequality and insecurity. People are scared to lose their job. That's why they vote populist, right? And populism could really destroy our democracy. So take away the existential threats from people. But I've been skeptical about basic income, I should say. Why? Because it lacks a competitive mechanism, right? And that's a driving force of our economy and society. But here's the idea. You need to add what I call democratic venture capitalism. So there would be another kind of money that you would also get on your bank account, but you couldn't keep it. You would have to invest that money into some great ideas, somebody else's ideas, right? So that's the point. We would use the wisdom of crowds. We would use kind of crowdfunding, but today you don't have much money to put into crowdfunding, right? In the future with this investment money, yes, you could invest. So the purpose would be to identify the best ideas and make sure that there's enough money to put the best ideas into practice. So combine capitalism with the wisdom of crowds and with democracy, and we know that this is the most powerful mechanism. So if you really want to boost innovation, I think this is what we would have to do. So why are we not doing it? I believe that if you would do that, you would enter an age of prosperity and peace. So let's do that together. Thank you.
Thank you, Dirk, for this mind-provoking talk and this fantastic range from really dark to really optimistic. I really appreciate it.
And here's a burning question.
Who classifies an idea as good?
Say it again.
Who classifies an idea as good to invest money in?
Now everyone would get a certain amount of money every month, and you couldn't keep it for yourself, right?
Yeah,
Your purpose would be to watch out for good ideas. Whatever you like, you give some of this money to. What we don't give to anybody else will disappear again, right? So everyone would be a scout looking for good ideas. That could be a neighborhood project, in the quarter of town you're living. That could be a project in Africa or in any place of the world. But everyone would watch out, right? And that would be the difference. At the moment we have, of course, venture capitalism, but there are very few people who try to spot ideas. And there are lots of ideas. Entrepreneurs are running for money, sometimes maybe for 2 years, and a lot of these ideas are basically given up on because it takes so much energy to find the money to convince people, and if it doesn't fit today's systems, it will never get done, right? So certain kinds of innovation will never happen. But that system that I'm proposing, would allow all those fresh new ideas